All right, y'all. So Variety published this big article about everything, all the crazy stuff that's happening at Marvel. It's pretty long, but I wanted to go through it because they're talking about some of the things that I feel like we have been mentioning and bringing up a lot. So it just brings a lot of clarity because we get to see what's going on behind the scenes. Let's get into it. So the article says, Crisis at Marvel. Jonathan Majors' backup plans, the Marvel's reshoots, reviving original Avengers, and more issues revealed. This past September, a group of Marvel creatives, including studio chief Kevin Feige, assembled in Palm Springs for the studio's annual retreat. Most years, they're just saying most years, the vibe at this event would have been real cocky and confident. You know, they really impressed about shit. But now there are obviously a whole lot of issues that they have to deal with. They said this occasion was angst-ridden. The most pressing issue to be discussed was what to do about Jonathan Majors. Of course, since all of that stuff happened with the domestic violence charges, they're now forced to rethink stuff, right? So at the gathering in Palm Springs, executives discussed backup plans, including pivoting to another comic book adversary like Doctor Doom, but making any shift would carry its own headaches. Majors was already a big presence in the MCU, including in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and he's currently positioned as a franchise's next big thing in this season of Loki. Of course, we know that we're setting him up for, a big film, fifth Avengers film in 2026. And in my personal opinion, I think they need to go ahead and just do it. Go ahead and switch the villains. Please just give us Doctor Doom, because y'all have not managed to make Kang seem not even half as scary as y'all did with Thanos. Like, I'm just not scared. I don't care what y'all talking about. I'm not scared. Y'all should have dumped this multiverse thing, I guess, after Endgame, because it seemed like y'all don't know where the fuck y'all going. It seemed like y'all don't know what the hell's happening, and it's just like it definitely shows in the quality of content that we're getting. Kang has not made me shake in my boots at all. Give us Doctor Doom, simplify the timeline, you know what I mean? Get rid of this multiverse shit. Y'all don't know what's happening, and let's get to it. Especially, like I said, given the fact that more and more evidence is coming out when it comes to, or at least, more and more tea, I'll say, is coming out about Jonathan Majors and whatever the hell is going on with that. So it's not looking like, oh, this case is going to be solved so easily, he gonna get off. Like, it's definitely not looking like that. Okay, the judge dismissed his ask for the case to be dropped. He dismissed that. They dismissed that shit. So it's just not looking good. So a source, they call him a top deal maker who has seen the final Loki episode, said Marvel is truly fucked with the whole Kang angle, and they haven't had an opportunity to rewrite until very recently because, of course, of the strike. But I don't see a path to how they move forward with him. Even now, I'm sitting here having, tried to watch that Loki shit, and I'm telling y'all, I don't know what people are seeing in this. It feels like it's all over the place. But I'm talking about the Loki show. It feels like there's a joke that lasts for fucking 10 minutes, and it makes an hour long, and like having to sit through a Loki episode. Like, I don't know if I'm just not getting it, but I don't know what people are talking about. It seems like it's full of fluff to me. That's what Loki feels like. Fluff and weird jokes and shit that, like, y'all don't even know what's going on with this multiverse shit. I don't understand. And like I said, they're trying to establish Kang as this big bad, and it's not working. It's not working for me. So beyond the bad press for Majors, the brain trust at Marvel is also grappling with the November release of The Marvels, a sequel to 2019's blockbuster Captain Marvel, of course, that has been plagued with lengthy reshoots and now appears likely to underwhelm at the box office. The source of Marvel's current troubles can be traced back to 2020. That's when the COVID pandemic ushered a mandate to help boost Disney's stock price with an endless torrent of interconnected Marvel content for the studio's fledgling streaming platform Disney+. According to the plan, there would never be a lapse in superhero fare, with either a film in theaters or a new television series streaming at any given moment. But the ensuing tsunami of spandex proved to be too much of a good thing, and the demands of churning out so much programming taxed the Marvel apparatus, as we all clearly saw. Moreover, the need to tease out an interwoven storyline over so many shows, movies, platforms created a muddled narrative that baffled viewers, to say the least. Are you serious? The Marvel machine was pumping out a lot of content. Did it get to the point where there was just too much and they were burning people out on superheroes? It's possible, says Wall Street analyst Eric Handler, who covers Disney. And I don't agree with that. Like people like superhero movies. People will love it if it's done well. Period. People can't get enough of that shit. But if it's done well, the more you do, the tougher it is to maintain quality. They tried experimenting with breaking in some new characters like Shang-Chi and Eternals with mixed results. With budgets as big as these, you need home runs. So yeah, I think that's one of the biggest mistakes when it comes to how Marvel was moving. But I think, it's across the board when it comes to industries like this. This kind of mistake will really mess people up, where you're pushing out content and you're preferring quantity over quality. So now Disney, or whatever the fuck, in 2020, Disney saw the opportunity to be like, oh, well, if they like superhero movies, we just keep it pumping. And we got this fucking Disney Plus online streaming platform. Oh, there should not be any moment where people don't have, some new superhero shit to digest. And it's just like, okay, I get it. But if all this shit is bullshit, if you're rushing out bullshit, if you haven't ChatGPT write these goddamn scripts, you see what I'm saying? It doesn't make any, just keep it. I would rather wait a year or two, you know what I mean, to get something good than to get this bullshit that Marvel has been pushing out. Like, I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. The Marvels, which opens in theaters on November 10th, will struggle to get the ball past the infield, at least by Marvel's outsized standards. The movie, which cost $250 million to make, and sees Brie Larson reprising her role as Captain Marvel, is tracking to open to $75 million to $80 million, far below the $185 million Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness took in domestically in its debut weekend last year. So instead of seamlessly building on the success of Captain Marvel, this article says the Marvels had to go through 4 weeks of reshoots to bring coherence to a tangled storyline. So first that, and then this, eyebrows were raised again when DaCosta began working on another film while the Marvels was still in post-production. The filmmaker moved to London earlier this year to begin prepping for her Tessa Thompson drama. A source said, if you're directing a $250 million movie, it's kind of weird for the director to leave with a few months to go. So now I am wondering how this coincides with the other reporting that we heard, where apparently when it comes to these Disney Plus shows or even some of the movies and stuff, that the executives were on set, or the executives were just bulldozing their way forward without any true actual show bible or show runners type of tease. Like, the executives were just pushing shit through. So I wonder, given all of that, maybe Nia was just like, girl, I tried to make a movie, y'all this is just me speculating, but I tried to make a movie. They gonna do whatever the fuck they want to do with it. I'm moving on to something that makes some more fucking sense. I don't know. Either way, it's just not looking good, right? This paragraph here just basically says that the Marvels got so-so reviews at a public test screening. It says middling reviews at a public test screening in Texas, and they don't really, or haven't really done public screenings like that. I guess they had just usually screened it for Disney employees and their families or whatever, but now I guess they're just like, we gotta get some other opinions on it. They said that Kevin Feige is spread pretty thin, and I would not be surprised, like I said, if Disney or whoever is demanding all this content be pushed out. It's just like, you're gonna get rushed content. That's what it's gonna feel like. That's exactly what it feels like. Feige isn't the only person showing signs of strain. Marvel's entire VFX battalion, including staffers and vendors, struggling to keep pace with a never-ending stream of productions. This past February, when the credits rolled at the world premiere of Quantumania, shock rippled through the theater in Westwood over some shoddy CGI. There were at least 10 scenes where the visual effects had been added at the last minute and were out of focus, says one veteran power broker who was there. It was insane. I've never seen something like that in my entire career. Everyone was talking about it. Even the kids of executives were talking about it. The schedule swap with the Marvels had left the Ant-Man sequel in a squeeze, pushing up its production or post-production schedule by 4.5 months. Marvel films are known for coming down to the wire, given Feige's ability to foam the runway and land a plane that way, says one executive familiar with how the company operates. But this level of unfinished was unprecedented and would be noted in scathing reviews when the tentpole with a $200 million budget opened 11 days after the premiere. Critics weren't the only ones dismayed. Fed up with 14-hour days and no overtime, Marvel VFX workers voted unanimously to unionize in September, sparking an industry-wide trend. I'm very glad that they did, because it doesn't make any sense for y'all to be pouring this much fucking coin into the movie, $200 million or whatever the fuck, and it looks like that. It doesn't make any sense for y'all to know what it takes for VFX artists to create something that they can be proud of. You know how much time it takes. And instead of giving these artists and giving these employees that time to work on that shit and paying them properly and giving them fucking breaks, y'all are pushing them like mules, like cattle, forcing them to do a half-assed, rushed fucking job so that y'all can get this endless stream of content out that don't even have no kind of coherent shit to it. You see what I'm saying? I'm glad they unionize on y'all ass, because this is not working and y'all keep doing it. Y'all keep pushing it. But I'm glad that y'all are shaking in y'all boots. Y'all should be, because this is a mess. The year 2023 was the straw that broke the camel's back, says former Marvel Studios VFX assistant coordinator Anna George, who appeared before the Congressional Labor Caucus on October 19th to testify about the studio's untenable deadlines and working conditions. The pay and long hours at Marvel were the reason we had to start our unionization process there. The conditions were completely unsustainable. So Disney apparently was really pissed about Marvel's VFX troubles. 1 month after the Quantumania premiere debacle, the guillotine fell on Victoria Alonso, who oversaw the studio's physical production, post-production, VFX, and all that stuff. So the VFX logjam had been evident for some time, with some final effects for such Disney Plus series as WandaVision and She-Hulk inserted after their streaming debuts. Y'all putting out a multi-million-dollar fucking, you know what I mean, studio, y'all putting out incomplete stuff. But some internal sources suggest that Alonso was a scapegoat and point to the She-Hulk VFX issues as a symptom of a deeper rot, namely a lack of oversight on script development. So they said originally in She-Hulk, her transformation into the Hulk character didn't take place until the episode before the last one, episode 8. But then Marvel actually, rearranged the shit, and then that meant that the VFX team was tasked with fixing the mess in post-production. The so-called bad VFX that we see was because of half-baked scripts, says one person involved with She-Hulk. They said basically y'all trying to put the guillotine down on one person or use one person as a scapegoat when the issue should be addressed in pre-production to begin with. The timeline is not allowing the Marvel executives to sit with the material. So this is one of the major issues that they're having. Is just they've agreed pushing out half-assed, barely developed content, because how can you sit and develop a really good story when you got these fucking bitches telling you, oh, you gotta hurry up and put something out? It's just like you're not gonna develop anything that is like of substance, right? If it's always a time crunch and they switching shit up and they like, you know what I mean? If the focus of it is just to get something out, no matter what it is or what it looks like, versus, oh, let's get something out that is, really good, that is excellent, that is a great story. Like, let's prioritize that. If that's not the goal, if that's not, their priority, Marvel's priority, then we are definitely going to see it in the quality, and y'all going to see it in the reception. Like, okay, I thought this part was crazy too. All the while, Marvel was bleeding money, with a single episode of She-Hulk costing some $25 million, dwarfing the budget of a final season episode of HBO's Game of Thrones. So I'm just like, where's the money? Where's the money going? Because how are you spending more money in an episode for a first season of She-Hulk than Game of Thrones spent in their last season on one episode? Like, what are y'all doing with that shit? The star of She-Hulk was usually just walking around in business casual or in a courthouse or in an office somewhere. Where y'all spending this money on? What y'all spending this money on? Joanna Robinson, the co-author of the New York Times bestseller MCU, The Reign of Marvel Studios, said the quality is suffering in 2019 at the peak. If you put Marvel Studios in front of something, people were like, oh, that brand means quality. That association is no longer the case because there have been so many projects that felt half-baked and undercooked. We know that. So the article goes on to talk about the Blade thing for a second. And they said that basically Mahershala Ali was getting ready to just say fuck it, because one person familiar with the script says that the story at one point morphed into a narrative led by women and filled with life lessons. Blade was relegated to the fourth lead, a bizarre idea considering that the studio had two-time Oscar winner Ali on board. Kevin Feige had to go out and try and hire Michael Green, who did Logan, to start a news because Mahershala was ready to fucking exit over the script issues. So it's like, why is it so difficult for y'all to get y'all shit together? What is it? Y'all just shoving out content. They also talk here about the idea of resurrecting some of the original members of the Avengers that died after Endgame, and I just don't think it's a good idea. I don't know. This would include reviving Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man and Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow. That shouldn't be a stumbling block. Because obviously in comic books, you can have characters that die and come back, especially if you're going to blame the multiverse. But the studio hasn't yet committed to the idea. If it were able to bring those actors back, it wouldn't come cheap. Sources say Robert Downey Jr.'s upfront salary for Iron Man 3 was around $25 million. And if that was Iron Man 3, and it was $25 million. I'm thinking you can what? Double that, triple that? If y'all are trying to use him, and that's just Robert Downey Jr., that's just Iron Man. We ain't even talk about the rest of them. So not only is this an expensive idea, and it's just like, wow, another expensive idea that would have a shitty ass execution. I just don't think, it just seems desperate at this point. Leave them characters dead, let the story have an impact. And I understand that, characters come back or whatever, but I just think that, like I said earlier, Marvel should have just ditched this multiverse shit after Endgame and started completely fresh. Like, they should have just dove straight into X-Men, all that shit. Like, why is it taking so long? Now, the article says, will that solve Marvel's Majors problem? When the Quantumania actor was arrested in March, Disney executives insisted that they could afford to play a wait-and-see game, and that's exactly what the response gave. Like, when he first got arrested, or when the issues first arose, like the way that Marvel and Disney was responding, I was like, yeah, they definitely trying to wait and see, because so much has been planned off of his fucking face and name. But it's just so much coming out about this Jonathan Majors stuff. It's just so much. So after they were like, okay, we could just wait and see, then Majors was dropped in quick succession by his publicist and manager. He remains a client at WME, the agency where he landed after CAA parted ways with him pre-arrest. They parted ways with him pre-arrest for his brutal conduct towards staff, says one source. CAA then declined to comment. In April, other alleged domestic violence victims of Majors began cooperating with the Manhattan DA's office. Then, ahead of a key hearing in October, media outlets, including Variety, obtained a court filing that referenced a police incident in London involving Majors that led his ex-girlfriend to seek medical attention. So this is another incident. Making matters even stickier, the ex-girlfriend also worked on Quantumania as a movement coach, and the London incident took place while Majors was shooting season 2 of Loki. On October 25th, like I said, the judge denied Majors' motion to dismiss the case, which ensures that the actor will stand trial. And even now, his legal team is attempting to keep some material in the case sealed, and we all know that is not going to last for fucking long. Like, even more and more information is going to come out about him. So, I mean, I'm sure Disney, Marvel, all of that, obviously they bracing for that. But they said even outside of the actor's legal issues, Marvel had already considered moving away from a Majors-led phase because of the box office performance of Quantumania. Now, they really thought that Quantumania was going to be a hit. And I'm just like, bitch, did we watch the same movie? I sat my ass down there and I was completely ungagged. I was completely unimpressed. I'm just like, if we're going to go to the quantum realm, like, let's get serious. Let's do something. It just was not anything. It was just fluff. And that's exactly what it just felt like fluff. It just felt like fluff. And so, I mean, and like I said, this was supposed to be the movie that's supposed to get us real shook when it comes to Kang and shit. Like, and I was just not. I was just, How were you even able to be defeated by Ant-Man's annoying ass? Anyway, I'm just like really surprised that they thought Quantumania was just gonna be this crazy hit. Like, girl, it wasn't nothing going on. It didn't give me no type of life. Recasting Majors is an option, but I'm just like, girl, y'all need to just go in a completely different direction. I would prefer if y'all just do Doctor Doom and simplify it, like I said. The rest of the article just talks about the fact that, hey, yeah, well, there could be some hope, even though, because Guardians of the Galaxy did what it did. It brought in $845 million worldwide, but the fact that it was directed by James Gunn, the guy now running rival DC Studios, was lost on absolutely no one. They also talk about the fact that a lot of fans are excited for what Marvel will be doing with Deadpool, Fantastic Four, X-Men. Like, yes, I just want them to convince me that I should be excited for these things. Like, I just want them to convince me, like, okay, we are going to handle X-Men well. We're going to handle Fantastic Four well. Because if it looks anything like Loki and Ant-Man and She-Hulk and, the rest of the stuff that they've just been pushing out without any care for if it's of quality, it's just like, girl, I'm not... If y'all butcher the X-Men, I'm not, it's just really, really annoying, really just disappointing. So I hope that they get their stuff together, because we are not, I just remember, years ago when Marvel was coming out, girl, the girls were sat. They sat their ass down. They paid attention, bitch. Like, and now we're just like, it's shit. It's shit. The CGI shit, the fact that y'all are working these VFX people 14 the fuck hours a day with barely any breaks to show y'all they had to unionize, and it still looked fucking terrible. The fact that y'all were spending more money on fucking She-Hulk episodes than Game of Thrones was spending on their episodes at the end of their fucking show. What? And it still looked like that? Cause of course y'all shaking in y'all boots. Of course you're shaking. So I just really wish that like companies across the board would focus on quality. But I know that, these executives, they need a fifth house, they need their third yacht, they need their 75th piece of property, piece of land, so they just gonna shove shit out. And I'm just like, leave the creation, leave the script writing, leave the plot development to the actual artists and the writers, leave the real shit to the creatives. And executives, sit your ass down. Like, I don't understand. Y'all want this money or not? Y'all coming in here bulldozing y'all way through the shit, forcing people to fucking work on timelines and schedules that are like 3 times as fast as what they need. You know what I mean? They can't get the amount of work, the quality of work done in the amount of time that y'all want to push out these fucking, quick little Disney Plus shows. Give these artists, give these creatives the time that they need to work so y'all can make y'all gonna make y'all money. Damn, give them the time to make it. But it's just like they want it right now. They say, bitch, can you do a whole Disney Plus show in 2 weeks? If you can't, you're fired. And it's just like, okay, but it's going to look like shit. It's going to look like we did this shit in 2 weeks. It's going to look like we tried to do an entire show in 2 weeks, in 1 week. And y'all be chopping up these 6 hour, 7 hour, 8 hour movies into Disney Plus shows and expect us to be gagging and then be stringing the plot all the way through 10 different Disney Plus shows, 5 different movies. Bitch, you don't even know. We don't even know what's going on with the multiverse. Y'all don't know where y'all going with this multiverse shit, clearly. So yeah, get Kang out of here, get Doom in here, make sure y'all got the X-Men and Fantastic Four together. Make sure y'all got that shit together, because if y'all don't have that shit together, it's lights out for real. Especially if DC is coming with the shit that they coming with, like for real. And if DC really executes what they need to execute, Marvel, y'all gonna be shaking. Y'all gonna be trembling. If you don't get this Deadpool movie right, if y'all don't get this X-Men shit together, and if y'all don't make sure y'all VFX people, y'all script writers, if y'all don't make sure that y'all have showrunners or show bibles, so it's like, it's gonna be lights out for you bitches. Like, it's gonna be ridiculous. At least the MCU section of it, because y'all know how to eat a Spider-Man fucking video game. I will say that. But it's just this part of it, the MCU, it seems like nobody has any idea what's going on, and it's definitely made apparent in the quality of the things that we receive. And just because we receive 10 fucking shows, 15 shows in a year, it won't mean anything if y'all could have just taken y'all time and did one show in that same time frame, and it was a good, solid show. But like I said, money and greed. money and greed. They just want the coin, and that's it. I'm just like, just sit y'all ass down, sit y'all old money hungry asses down, and let the creatives do what they need to do. Because y'all executives are fucking it up. Y'all are. So, I don't know. The fact that y'all thought Ant-Man Quantumania was going to do something lets me know that y'all have no idea what the fuck going on. So sit y'all ass down, let the creatives do their thing. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Love y'all so much, and I'll check y'all later. Peace.